Hi everyone, Angelo here at PAX at the Buy Somewhere booth with Nick.
Yes, hi. We're a Sydney-based studio. We started development on this project about 3 years ago, so it's been a long haul to get here. It's all been in stealth mode, and now this.
Walk me through what the game is.
So it's basically a location-based property tycoon game. So the idea is that you open up the game and it transforms the world around you into this massive board game. We've spent a lot of time investing in the actual environment of the game, so it was kind of my mandate to the team that I didn't want it to feel as though it was just a recolorized map. I wanted you to feel like you were actually in this game world where a level designer had come through and placed everything individually. So, needed to have raised parks and lowered waterways and flowing water and three-dimensional objects and houses and skyscrapers. And when you moved from an area like a highly residential area and you came closer and closer to the city, I wanted this massive skyscrapers to appear from over the horizon. So you really do feel like the board game world reflects the real world.
What do you do in Buy Somewhere in that case? I mean, you can kind of guess by the title, but how does the mechanics actually work for the game?
Yeah, so the object of the game is to build and expand your property empire. You can buy, sell, and steal property. So basically, the longer that you hold on to property, the more rent you get from that property. We've given a lot of consideration to venues, so what people do in their day-to-day lives. What we noticed from a lot of other location-based games is that if you weren't near certain things, there was no gameplay there, which was kind of frustrating, especially when people want to play a game, so to prevent them from doing that didn't really make sense for us. So the idea is basically you get up in the morning, you've got a certain amount of cash, you go out there, you invest it in certain kinds of properties. There's bonuses for collecting different numbers of properties in certain mini empires. Once you have those collections, you can come home and you can manage those properties. So you kick your shoes off, you turn the telly on, and then there's a whole other aspect to the game that you can start to play. The better managed your properties are, the better the return is, the better their defenses are. But as I mentioned before, you can also steal properties from friends. Yeah.
So it sounds like you have to kind of regularly check into these places in that case. So does it mean that, if, for example, we're from Adelaide, if I'm from Adelaide, I can't just, take something like the Eiffel Tower in Paris, can I? I have to actually be physically in that place.
You have to be physically at that place, but the cool thing is, and we're handing out these collectibles here today at the event, basically, once you get a property card, that effectively becomes your control panel for that property. So I don't have to go back to that property to collect rent. I have to have gone there once, or I can trade with a friend. So there are certain achievements for owning properties in multiple countries.
Cool. All right, so the game's developed in Australia, right, in Sydney?
100% Australian made. We started off as a team of 2. We've grown into a team of 15. I'm a massive Nintendo fan. One of the clearest memories in my head from when I was like 10 years old is when my mum, out of the blue, bought me a Super Nintendo, and that kind of set me on the trajectory that I am on today. I still have little baby teeth bite marks in my Super Nintendo controller from playing Super Mario All-Stars and not winning in Bowser's Castle and stuff like that. So they've been a massive inspiration to me. I think what they do really, really well, and with a game like this, is they have these mechanics that are inherently easy to understand, first off, but there's this very eloquent depth to everything that they do. We've taken a lot of those design principles and implemented them here, so it's easy for anyone to pick up, but there is a lot of depth in terms of how you take property, how you invest your money, all the rest of it.
So what platforms are we going to see this on? Obviously it's going to be mobile. Is there a reach for anything else, like, maybe a web-based sort of thing? Or?
Man, we've talked about it. So it's iOS and Android initially. We've talked about the idea of allowing you to manage your property portfolio remotely on kind of other devices, different interfaces for that. And, I mentioned before I'm a massive Nintendo fan, so if the Switch is GPS enabled...
yeah, that's sweet Nintendo.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. So you're saying you're in beta now, so when can we expect the game to sort of be ready for the public?
Early 2017. So that'll be an initial launch in Australia. We'll then roll it out to the rest of the world. So a lot of those 2 years has been spent on this automated layout engine. So obviously the kind of design principle in place that the game world needed to feel as though someone had constructed it, it's not actually viable for someone to construct it. So we've got these really sophisticated layout algorithms that determine exactly where everything should sit and what data should be shown, what data is relevant to a player, what data isn't relevant to a player. So it was a massive challenge in and of itself. But the aim is 2017. People can sign up for the beta today, buysomewhere.com, and then the rest of the world soon after.